Developing capabilities and innovative technology to combat terrorism are high on NATO's agenda. That's why the Defense Against Terrorism Program of Work, or DAT PoW, has launched a multimedia tool to do just that. Through a virtual scenario, NATO can show how to address a complex attack. There are a number of potential threats to be considered. From the sea, there is a complex attack involving two high-speed boats racing toward the port. Behind them, a slower hijacked vessel that will be hard to stop or change course drifts into view. At the same time, divers try to reach the port underwater. There are other threats that come from the land. At the airport, mortar attacks are aimed at the runway and manned portable air defense systems, known as manpads. At the base entry checkpoint, locals and potential enemies are undergoing routine security checks. And a vehicle on a road close to the camp suddenly changes course, heading toward the base's reinforced external perimeter. It will prove to be a suicide attack. There are also threats to the urban environment. Multiple explosions in the same neighborhood are followed by a possible dirty bomb that triggers a CBRN alert. Enemy manpads, rocket-propelled grenades, and snipers on rooftops add to the attack, while posing threats to patrolling helicopters responding to the crisis. Threats on the high-value routes connecting the military compounds will have an impact on the freedom of movement and mobility of our forces. Roadside IEDs threaten to block a convoy's access to the military compound. Radio frequency-triggered IEDs and command wire or pressure plate devices increase the risk. Countermeasures. The virtual scenario will show how each of these threats can be addressed with DAT PoW countermeasures. At the harbor, sonar and radars, part of Portugal's DAT PoW system of systems, SafePort, have detected intruders approaching the port, alerting authorities. The military and law enforcement response may look seamless, but it takes the coordination of tactics, techniques, and procedures, known as TTPs. Civilian-military cooperation like this is tested and refined through the Latvian-led ROPAX call project. One tactic developed by Poland, the deployment of a portable magnetic barrier, will detect underwater threats. The barrier is made up of a chain of passive magnetic detectors that complement sonar systems already in place. Iceland's Exercise Northern Challenge trains expert teams in EOD, including in a maritime environment. This virtual gaming scenario is being developed by La Spezia's Center for Maritime Research and Experimentation to prevent the escalation of hostile attacks. Along with the barrier, lasers and acoustic alarms are also being developed as non-lethal capabilities, as well as blunt trauma testing, co-led by Belgium and France. Outside the camp, enemies are attacking the airport and runway, setting their sights on vulnerable aircraft. But unseen is a protective bubble surrounding the arriving and departing airliners, countermeasures led by the UK and NATO Air Force Armaments Group, NAFAG. Electromagnetic measures or flares are built into the aircraft itself, along with ground-to-air protection that would help ward off a successful attack. A Dutch and Norwegian lead on Defense Against Mortar Attacks initiative is now being used by UK ISAF. Access control. Biometrics is a new tool used to identify the enemy. At the military camp, locals' biometric data is being collected and screened before they enter the gate. Sent to the lab for further analysis and the creation of a database, the data will help identify enemies from entering the camp and carrying out attacks. Force protection. Outside the base, a vehicle traveling down a road close to the camp suddenly changes course and veers toward the reinforced external perimeter. It's a suicide attack. Laden with explosives, the vehicle is a fast-moving IED. But with passive countermeasures in place, this kind of attack could be prevented. Integrated perimeter security solutions, fence detection systems, buried cable detection systems, alarm monitoring and control systems, and microwave sensors would help create an added wall of protection around the base. Security measures like these could be used for both the military compound, civilian, and critical infrastructure. CBRN threat and consequence management in an urban environment. A complex attack involving multiple explosions at different locations is underway in the urban center. A quick reaction force deploys into the area in the safest and quickest way possible and sets up a security perimeter. Immediate threats of rocket-propelled grenades on building rooftops are neutralized. Explosive Ordnance Disposal, or EOD teams, are called in to stop any potential secondary explosions, like a dirty bomb. A CBRN team arrives to confirm whether friendly forces are dealing with a dirty bomb, as suggested by the military engineer EOD platoon. The CBRN team, in white, stands ready to show they've intervened. After the EOD team neutralizes the explosives, the CBRN team will remove the radioactive material to prevent citywide contamination. This extreme urgency situation calls for non-routine CBRN TTP rules of engagement. It's a scenario that presents only one of many TTPs that could be thrown into action. Improvised explosive devices and explosive ordnance disposal. A convoy is carrying out a route clearance operation along a critical communication route. Using specialized equipment, the team is out to identify and detect improvised explosive devices, or IEDs. These electronic countermeasures reduce the risk posed by remotely controlled IEDs, but the capability does not guarantee protection against plate or command-wired devices. Traditional detection solutions are less effective against low-metal or non-metal content IEDs. So in this case, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance assets, such as drones, monitor the road and collect data during clearance operations. And although TTPs used here are only a fraction of national procedures, they have to be coordinated in a multinational operation. Intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. ISR connects each of the threat areas where forces are in contact with a single command and control center. Known as a capability umbrella, it's able to tackle the complex operational environment across air, land, and sea in the face of simultaneous, coordinated attacks. Real-time information sharing is critical to effectively identifying, analyzing, and tracking a threat. In this scenario, ISR could determine if the attackers are part of the same network. This final image shows just how complex this theater of operations is, and how the importance of having a command and control center with a full intelligence picture. It's crucial that different components contributing to the combined intelligence can be used together without sacrificing performance.